I have no countdown. What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Cannonballs podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Dane Cannon. Co-hosting with me today is
your boy, Jake Mother effing Bulls, baby. And we're almost done with week one, Dane. We are almost done. Currently watching the Giants get absolutely manhandled by the Cowboys. There's 40 seconds left. I figure we didn't have to wait to watch all of it.
We did not,
because it's a pretty pathetic game. But you know, week one is almost done, Dan.
Week one in the books. You know, a lot of week one things transpired, a lot of good things, a lot of bad things, a lot of things that teams can improve on. But, you know, it was an exciting week, to say the least, for a lot of teams. Half of us are going to be happy and half of us are going to be very disappointed, wishing that the season never started.
Yes,
Jake is on one end of the spectrum, and I, as a Chargers fan, as half of the other teams and fans of the other half of the fan base. We are on the other side of the spectrum. So we're going to get into it. We're going to kind of break down a little bit of each game. We're going to go game by game, just kind of give our thoughts and reactions to each individual game and kind of just talk about it, you know, kind of free ball it. But yeah, guys, follow us here on our Cannonballs Instagram. Like, comment, subscribe, follow us on our Instagram, yada, yada, yada. Jake, do you have anything to add before we get going?
Yeah, I just want to, ask you a couple of questions.
Yeah, go for it. Shoot it.
Who was your biggest surprise for the week? Or what game was what game was the most impressive to you so far?
The most impressive, I would probably say, is San Francisco dominating the Steelers. I think that the Steelers had a lot of hype going into the start of the regular season based off of their preseason performance. And it was just absolute domination. You know, the 49ers defense did not take any step backs after losing D'Amico Ryan. It just looked flawless. Offense was humming. Brandon Ayuk looked great, which was another great thing to look at. Another thing, if I'm just going to talk about like surprises, I would kind of say the Rams. And the Rams was a big one. And then I would also say just the Cowboys dominating the way that they did. I know that the game is still going on while we're recording right now, but 40-0. 40-0 is just absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, I think that the biggest surprise for me is the Rams outperforming the Seahawks. The Seahawks, it is week one, anything can happen, but it was kind of pure dominance by the Rams, and we'll get into that game. But I think that those are probably my biggest surprises of week one.
Yeah, I have a couple other surprises, kind of in the more negative direction. Seahawks completely shit the bed. I mean, I think it was a little bit of both. Like the Rams looked, they both kind of looked okay in the first half, but then the Rams just took over second half. I think the Seahawks had 3 total yards, which is absolutely insane. The Bengals shitting the bed against the Browns. Like, we picked them to lose, but I did not expect a beatdown by the Browns. And see, this is why you guys listen to the whole episode, because earlier when we did our early predictions, we got some shit talking about, picking the Bengals over the Browns, but we changed it last week right before, because we figured, the Browns would win one. So that was pretty surprising. The Patriots-Eagles game was pretty surprising, I think.
Yeah, Patriots looked better than I gave them credit for. I'll give them that.
Yes, sir. That was surprising. Jordan Love was pretty surprising to me. It is the Bears, so let's, slow our roll down a little bit. But regardless, he looked pretty decent. And then my one, what was my last one I was just thinking of? I don't know. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
I guess we do kind of have not so breaking news. Right before the start of the week one, Nick Bosa and Joe Burrow signed massive contracts. Nick Bosa is now the highest paid defender player that's not a quarterback.
Big time money. Bosa brothers.
Yeah, no, I sent you something because, Dane is a Chargers fan, I'm a Niners fan. And they are now two of the top four highest played defenders in the NFL, which is absolutely insane. That entire family is just set up for life now.
Oh yeah, big time. But only one of them played like it.
Dang. But yeah, just a quick look into the numbers. He signed a 5-year, $170 million deal with, I think it was like 122 of it fully guaranteed, which is insane. Yeah, just absolutely insane. I'm really happy they did it. He did play week 1. So that's good. And then the other big news, Joe Burrow signed a gigantic contract. 275 million. And I believe 120 of it or something like that is fully guaranteed, or 175 of it. I forget. Let me look. I'm looking right now. I'm trying to talk and research all at the same time. I'm really not finding it. Do you know what the numbers are, Dan?
No, but I can look it up if you would like. I can look that up, but I do know that Nick Bosa did sign one of the most monstrous contracts I've seen from a defensive player, especially from the edge position. You know, the edge is kind of being one of those highly coveted positions that is going to make a lot of money in the NFL, but he just set the bar very, very high.
Yeah, and I know rumors were he wanted to be paid higher than Aaron Donald, and usually I'm against paying so much money for
5-year,
one player.
$170 million extension with $34 million per year in new money average.
Goddamn. But Nick Bosa and Joe Burrow absolutely earned their new contracts. They are the upper echelon of the NFL. Nick Bosa just won Defensive Player of the Year. Joe Burrow's been to a Super Bowl, multiple AFC championships. They're just the cream of the crop. So
it's kind of interesting. It is kind of interesting though, because Joe Burrow did not play like he was worth that much money today. And I know it's week 1, but like, oh my God, like for being paid the highest paid player in the NFL currently, and then having the performance that he did. I mean, I know that he missed the preseason due to the injury to his calf and whatnot, but it did not look right one bit. I mean, the Bengals could not get anything going on offense. I know that they've struggled with the Browns in the past. Division opponent, the Browns kind of have their number, but it just did not look like he was worth the highest paid player in the NFL currently.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about it, and a lot of players who signed giant contracts did not do a whole lot this weekend. Lamar didn't have the best game. Jalen Hurts didn't have his best game.
Justin Herbert didn't have a best game.
Yeah, he still threw for like 250 yards, didn't he? 2 touchdowns?
I don't even think. No. I don't even think he threw for 250 yards. Maybe he threw for 2 touchdowns, but I think he threw for like 200 yards total. Because I mean, the chart. We'll get into the game, but like they ran the ball like over 200 yards today.
Right on. But it was just very interesting. Nick Bosa, he didn't get a sack. He got pancaked a couple times. It was just funny. A lot of the higher paid players, or the ones who just signed, really didn't do much. I'm not saying that's a trend, but it's just a funny coincidence. But I think that's all we have for breaking news, Dane, unless you can think of anything.
No, I think that is everything that I can think of breaking news wise, at least at this point in time.
I guess a couple injury updates, or do you want to talk about it when we go through the games?
Let's go through the games, and then we can mention like the injuries if it's notable.
All right. I am going to have a little... I don't know if you guys can see all of it. Maybe I'll scroll it around, move my face around, but I have the matchups right behind me. So with that being said, Dane, let's get into the first game of the 2023 season.
All right, let's do it. So first and foremost, we have Thursday night football. We have the Detroit Lions traveling to Kansas City to play the Chiefs. And I did pick the Lions. Jake did pick the Chiefs. Granted, the Chiefs should have won this game. The Lions did end up edging them out 21-20. It was a very exciting game. It wasn't the highest scoring game, a lot of back and forth, but Kadarius Toney, I think, is the reason that the Chiefs lost this. It's going all
100.
over going over
100.
social media, dropping balls left and right. He was the one who also gave up the pick six, wasn't he?
Yep. He had 3 targets, I believe. He gave up the pick six. He dropped a crucial first down in the fourth quarter, and the Chiefs could have went down and scored and won the game. And then he had just another drop. Sorry, but continue.
Yeah, I don't want to take anything away from the Lions, but I think that the Chiefs defense did play really well this game. I think Spagnuolo came up with a great defensive game plan. I think that they played really well. Patrick Mahomes was putting the ball in the right places. He didn't have Travis Kelce, and I think that it showed. So it kind of does correlate to being a great quarterback. You do have to have good wide receivers, because it's like Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the NFL. If he's putting the ball right where it needs to be, but he doesn't have a good wide receiver, kind of reflects in this game. So it is, a double-edged sword. You do need both to operate in the NFL. And I think that that's the biggest thing. Travis Kelce, I think if he was out there, they probably win this game, probably would have had a couple more completions. Defense performed really well. The Lions also did a really good job. Jared Goff made some big-time throws when he needed to, got things going on the ground. Jahmyr Gibbs looked pretty good. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's a stud. He's doing his thing. And I think the Lions defense did perform okay. I think that it's kind of overshadowed by the fact that, the Chiefs dropped way more passes than they're used to. I mean, I think in the second half, Patrick Mahomes was 2 for 12 because of all the drops or something like that. I can't remember the exact statistic, but yeah, it's, it was a good opening week. I enjoyed the game thoroughly. I think the Lions deserve this. I think that it gave NFL fans like a run for their money. I think a lot of fans enjoyed this game, especially because everyone's sick and tired of the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl, except for Chiefs fans. But yeah, it was a good win for the Lions. I hope that they take this momentum and roll it into the next week.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. It was a great game. Couple takeaways though. Jahmyr Gibbs is legit. He looks great. Fresh legs there running. I'm excited to see him behind that line. What else did I have? You know what? Aiden Hutchinson, man. That dude's I know he won Defensive Player of the Year or Defensive Rookie, right? Last year?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so no, that dude's gonna be legit, like for sure. Like
wait.
Or maybe it was Sauce Gardner.
It was Sauce Gardner? It was Sauce Gardner.
My fault. I think Aiden Hutchinson came in second for the trophy. But regardless, Aiden Hutchinson's gonna be legit.
Yeah, it was Sauce Gardner.
I do think the Chiefs blew that game, but
100%.
Like you said, I think the Lions played. I think the Lions were good. They're a good team, and if you make mistakes like that, then that's what good teams do, is capitalize on those mistakes. So yeah, and Dane, just so you guys know, picked the Lions. I picked the Chiefs. I picked them out of 1 out of 16, so I wasn't very confident in the Chiefs. So just so you know, I did track all of our picks, and so Dane is just up 1 right now. Let's go on to the second game, the first game of Sunday, which actually is the 49ers versus Pittsburgh.
I'll let you take this one away.
Yeah, for sure. This was a dominant performance. I personally think it's the second most dominant performance of the week. The 49ers are legit, man. Like I've been saying this. I don't usually pick my team to win the Super Bowl. I think if they win it, it's this year. They look so goddamn good. And Brock Purdy looks good. Like literally what he was doing last year, he never got hurt, never skipped a beat. He was decisive.
Which was my main concern for him. And I think that it is week 1. I don't want to take anything away, but if he continues this trajectory that he's on, bro, it kind of just alleviates all my worries, because that was one of the things that I was concerned about, was that how this injury was going to affect him.
Yeah, so he slung it. He even put it up for Brandon Ayuk, who had a monster game. Christian McCaffrey had a monster game. Debo George, didn't do too much, but they had a couple catches. But Brock Purdy had a great game, and the defense had an excellent game. Drake Jackson came out. He had 3 sacks today. Javon Hargrave got his first one for the 49ers. A couple picks, almost had a pick six. Fred Warner, you need to wipe your hands of that butter. That would have been a pick six if I ever saw. But you know what? I'm kind of done talking about the 49ers. I expected them to win. A lot of people didn't. People doubt the 49ers, I think, sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the 49ers are legit. But I want to know what happened to Pittsburgh. Like, everyone was saying they would have this good defense, and TJ Watt had 3 sacks also.
Yeah, TJ Watt performed well, but the rest of the defense, especially in the secondary, did not come to play today.
Yeah, and neither did the wide receivers. Small or quiet day for pretty much all of them, and the running backs. Pat Freiermuth had the only touchdown for the Steelers, which it was kind of a give me touchdown because the 49ers had like 3 or 4 penalties on that drive. But you can't be doing that crap if you're going to beat teams like the Eagles and stuff. But really not a lot to take away from the Steelers. They didn't look great, but they played a really good team. I think they'll be fine. I think they have improved. I just think the 49ers are like legit. So what do you guys say?
Yeah, I don't have too much to add on to that. I just think that the 49ers were more prepared for this game than the Steelers were. And like I mentioned earlier, they had a great preseason. They looked great. It just didn't transition to week 1. Anything can happen in week 1, but I just think that it shows like the dominant force that San Francisco is this year. And San Francisco came to play. The defense looks lights out. The offense looks lights out. So not too much to take away. Just a dominant performance by San Francisco and a good win.
Yeah, I was very happy to see, 49ers usually start slow, but my prediction was they would start out fast this year, and I think they continue the trend. Real quick, I just want to see, 2 interceptions, 0 pick sixes, 5 sacks. Holy bejesus. All right. All right, next game. Who do we got, Dane?
Well, I'm going to go off of your board. Yeah, just go ahead and pick because I do not have it up. On mine, I have the Panthers Falcons, but I know that you said
let's do it. That's fine.
All right, so Carolina traveled to Atlanta to play the Falcons. Falcons had a pretty dominant second half, I will say. The run game definitely got going. Bijan Robinson looked lights out. He looked like he was worth a first-round pick. Tyler Algier got going. Falcons defense actually balled out pretty hard. I know that Bryce Young, he is a rookie quarterback. He's going to take his lumps and bruises, and I think that he kind of went through that in his first game. But yeah, I was surprised by the Falcons defense. I think that that's my biggest takeaway. They looked good. The defensive line looked better. The secondary looked good, and the offense was humming, dude. Not too much to say. I don't think Desmond Ridder was by far the best performer in this week. Didn't really get things going, but the ground game got going, and the defense got some key stops. So yeah, I think it was a good performance by Atlanta. I think Carolina has some things to build upon. I think the defense had some key stops when they needed to. Defensive line looked pretty good. They got things going on the ground as well a little bit, but overall, Atlanta just put the game away, and it was a good performance in week 1.
Yeah. I'm not like, how do I say this? I'm not like shitting on Desmond Ridder. I'm also not like saying he's, how do I say this nicely? Help me out here, Dane. I'm not trying to shit on him, but I'm also not giving him credit. But I don't think I can't really say anything. He wasn't the best performance. Bijan though, Bijan and Jameer, dude, these dudes they're the next ones, man. They are the next ones. If there's any players that are gonna help the running back market out, it's these dudes. They are explosive, elite talents, man. I really enjoyed watching Bijan Robinson.
I did too, especially in the pass game too. It wasn't just like running the ball; it was in the pass game. He was utilized correctly, and he did what he did at Texas. So good utilization.
Also, I was pretty pleased with Bryce Young. His rookie debut, 20 for 38, 146, a touchdown, 2 interceptions, but that comes with the territory. He actually outplayed Desmond Ridder. Desmond Ridder only threw for 115, but you know what? It's hard because the Falcons are a run-first team. They're gonna run, maybe throw, not to Drake London because he goose-egged me, but they're gonna run. So it's a little hard to take a lot from that, but I think Bryce Young did for his first week in the NFL. I think he did admirable. So. But other than that, it was a good game, pretty close, and then Falcons took it away. Let's move on to the next one.
All right.
Oh, real quick, I'm in a group chat and we were talking shit about Kyle Pitts. Like people were like, "When are we gonna start calling him a bust?" Blah blah blah. And then this dude just proceeds to make one of the most nasty catches. I was like, "Oh, dude."
See, the thing is, like
glimpses.
It's the targets that Kyle Pitts gets. When he is targeted, he is a beast. Like he has all the talent in the world. It's just the underutilization of him in the offense.
Mm-hmm. He's in the wrong offense, man. If he was, you put him on the 49ers, the Chargers, put him on the Dolphins. He would ball out, guaranteed. Put him on the Chiefs. He would be Patrick Mahomes' new best friend. Can you see the share screen pretty good?
Yes, I can.
All right, cool. All right, so next game. This one was definitely one of the more shocking ones, but not to us because we predicted it, baby, and that's why you listened to the whole podcast. We have the Cleveland Browns manhandling the Cincinnati Bengals. They beat them 24-3, and it really, it was close for the first half. I think it was like 3-0 at the end. It was 10-0 at the end of the first half. And then, the Bengals didn't get a field goal until the third quarter. Evan McPherson, is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a couple of bad misses. T. Higgins could absolutely do nothing. He goosed me as well. Unfortunately, I am facing Dane week 1. I feel like we always face each other. But, he goosed me. So hopefully that doesn't come and bite me in the ass. And I don't think Jamar Chase even had a special game. What, he had like 5 points?
Yeah, not even. He only had like 2.9 points in fantasy. So not a big day by any means. I think the biggest storyline for here is Cleveland Browns defense was lights freaking out. Miles Garrett, dude. he got after Joe Burrow this game. He had himself a game. And not only that, Nick Chubb looked good. Deshaun Watson had a couple good passes here and there, but he wasn't spectacular by any means. I'm giving him more leeway. It is week 1. But I still expect Deshaun Watson to make more like star-studded plays. And so I think that he will get to that point, especially if he has this defense that performed the way that they did. Now, granted, this is week 1. Cleveland Browns, they usually do play Cincinnati tougher than most teams. Even last year, Cleveland kind of shut out the Bengals. So I'm not necessarily worried about the Bengals by any means. They're still my Super Bowl pick for the AFC. I think that they're going to bounce back. I think that they'll be fine. But this was just a rough outing for Joe Burrow in that offense. They could not get anything going. Defense had some good plays here and there, but still, this was just a one-sided affair. And the Cleveland Browns came to play. So good job, Cleveland.
Yeah. Also, the Cincinnati Bengals always start slow. So it makes sense. I didn't think it would be this slow. But they really need to wake up because the AFC is stacked. Miles Garrett had a sack. Deshaun Watson, his numbers are okay. 16 for 29, 154, a touchdown, an interception. Nick Chubb had a pretty good day. Deshaun Watson also had 45 yards rushing and a touchdown. So not a bad day, I would say. Yeah, but I'm with you, Dan. I would definitely want to see it more consistently. And
Hmm.
then Joe Burrow, this is the first time he's had under 100-yard passing game in his career. So
Yeah, his QBR was like 52.2. Not a good day.
yeah, not good at all. But really, not much else to talk about there. I say we move on.
Let's move on. Yeah, who knows? Maybe Joe Burrow was out partying too much with that newfound money.
Hey, I know I would be. This one, not very unexpected, but it was actually pretty close for a while. We have the Baltimore Ravens beating the Houston Texans 25-9.
Yeah.
And
First
like
half
I said,
was a
it
very
was
close game.
yeah, close. Lamar was coughing it up nonstop. How many times did he fumble? Fumble like 3 times, I believe.
It was either 2 or 3, yeah.
He had 0 touchdowns. He had an interception. Yeah, he had 2 fumbles, 1 lost. So I mean, the breaking sad news about this game is J.K. Dobbins is out once again with a torn Achilles, out for the season. And I just really feel bad for the dude, man. Like this
I
dude,
do too. He's like a
if he
Jason
would,
Verrett.
dude, really, and like he would be so good if he could stay healthy. And he just can't. His body doesn't agree with NFL football, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very sad news. But you know the Ravens persevered. I'll say this: I really wish I got a chance to draft Zay Flowers.
Yeah, Zay Flowers looked great.
I'm excited for him. A lot of end arounds, a lot of you know, I don't even know what you would call it, but he was their leading receiver.
Dude, just the twitchiness and like the cutability of Zay Flowers is really on a different level. Like you can see like people have speed, but like the change of direction for Zay Flowers is different. And I think the biggest thing for me, or like one of the funniest things for me, is OBJ came out with the Ray Lewis like opening dance and just had 1 target, 0 catches, I think, this game. So kind of entertaining.
2 targets, 37 yards.
He did have to. He caught them.
Yeah, he actually had a
what am
really
I
good
watching?
receiving.
What am I watching? I thought he had no yards.
Watching OBJ from the Browns or something.
Maybe.
But the Texans, man, Dameon Pierce, I mean, it was the whole team. CJ Stroud had a pretty good game. I actually didn't. This is the one game. This is my least watched game. For some reason on Red Zone or Sunday Ticket, it wasn't popping up on the stream I was having. But he had a pretty decent amount of yardage, just 0 touchdowns thrown. So who got the touchdown? Was it defensive?
No. Was it? I'm trying to remember who got the touchdown. I'm pretty sure it was an offensive touchdown. Give me 1 sec.
Or maybe it was just field goals. Oh, yeah, it was just field goals.
It was 3 field goals?
Yeah, 3 field goals. But, yeah, CJ Stroud didn't have... You know, he's on a bad team. Like I said, I wasn't sold on the Texans making the playoffs or anything. I didn't think they were going to make leaps and bounds. I did like their effort, though, on defense. You know, I saw a lot of people peanut punching the ball out. It was a beautiful play. I don't remember his name, but it was a beautiful peanut punch. So, you know, it's going to take a while. You know, when you're taking poverty franchises from, you know, the ground up, it takes a while. It's not going to take a year. It's going to take probably 2, maybe 3. So yeah, but good win for the Ravens. But apparently they're bringing Melvin Gordon out of out
of the practice squad.
Yeah, so old man Gordon gets another shot in the NFL.
There you go. But yeah, you know, it was a good win by the Ravens. Their second half team just came to play. Texans, they played a good first half, but in the NFL, you have to play 2 good halves. So I think the Texans have a lot to build upon. I think D'Amico Ryans is doing a great job, especially with that defense. I think that they come to play. I'm excited to see Dameon Pierce in the future, and I think CJ Stroud's going to take steps forward moving on.
Yeah. Real quick, I have not been reminding them of who we picked to win. So we both picked the Browns. We both picked the Falcons, and we both picked the 49ers and the Ravens.
Yep.
So, all right. So I have 3 at this point, I think, and Dan has 4. So, but let's go on to the next one. This one was I forgot about this game, honestly. Not very surprising, honestly. The Buccaneers upset the Vikings,
Yeah.
20-17, and honestly, like it's kind of like it still has the good team, the Super Bowl team of 2 years ago, just minus Tom Brady. It's the same team, and if
Give or
Baker
take some
Mayfield,
offensive linemen, some defensive players, but yeah.
yeah. Let's say the weapons and the some of the defensive players, pretty much the same team, right? The core. And there was a lot of question marks about this team because we didn't know how Baker Mayfield. I mean, he's on his 4th team in 2 years. Like, that's crazy.
And he did not look good in the preseason. Well, in the preseason he looked good, but in training camp, like there were highlight videos of him and Kyle Trask passing balls, just sailing them over wide receivers. So it did not look like it was going to be a good performance, but Baker Mayfield, man, he came to play.
Dude,
and I think the bigger thing, though, is Kirk Cousins did not come to play.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of misses. He threw for 344 yards, but had a costly intercept. Well, honestly, the interception was more of a great defensive play. I don't know why this game didn't pop up on my Sunday ticket or red zone a whole lot, but this one in the Ravens game I didn't get to watch a whole lot of. But Justin Jefferson had himself a game.
Jordan Addison also had a really good catch, deep part of the field, midfield. Just a nice 40-yard pass by Kirk Cousins to him. That was a great route by him. Just blew by the defender. So
yeah, and Baker Mayfield had himself a decent game. Mike Evans had himself a pretty good game. Chris Godwin, not bad. And really the defense, I think, was the factor. Defenses were the factor in here. I don't think the Vikings Danielle Hunter, I believe he made some plays. I know they sacked. Yeah, Danielle Hunter had a sack. They only had 1 sack. Well, but no, the defense of the Buccaneers was the deciding factor in this game. So I was impressed with it. But yeah, man, this game totally effed up my pool.
Same.
So yeah, so I don't really want to talk about it anymore, but it was fun to watch.
It was a good win for the Bucs. I don't want to take anything away from them. I think this might be one of those might Buccaneer fans don't come at me, but I think this might be one of those week 1 performances where they outperform expectations.
Yeah. Also, you have to think the Vikings have maybe some improvement to their defense. I don't know. Doesn't really look like it, but they had one of the worst defenses last year. And let's see if they carry on that trend. Next game. This one was pretty good, actually. We had the New Orleans Saints beating the Tennessee Titans 16-15. Very close game.
This was a defensive game all the way around.
Yes. Also, Derek Carr had a good game, while Ryan Tannehill did not. I believe he threw 3 interceptions. Derek Carr threw a touchdown. It was beautiful.
See, this is where I think that I mix up. When I was saying that Kirk Cousins didn't have a good game, I think on Red Zone, this is where I was thinking Kirk Cousins was throwing interceptions, but it was Ryan Tannehill.
Real quick, we both picked the Vikings to win. And
yes, we
did not get those picks. Sorry about that. We also picked the Saints to win, both of us. So, yes. But no, this was a tough game. The defenses were getting after it. The defensive line of both of these defenses were getting after it.
I think the Tennessee defensive line against the run was outstanding. I do want to mention that they were excellent.
Yeah, man. Derrick Henry had a nice little. Was it a catch? Did he catch that, or was that a run?
Yeah, no, he caught it. The screen pass.
Dude, that was. Did you just imagine that man running full speed from a screen? No. It went for 50 yards, didn't it? Something like that?
It went for a good chunk of yards for sure. I think it was 40 yards, but 40, 50 yards, same thing.
Yeah, and then, D-Hop had himself a pretty decent game, man. He was making plays all over the place. He looked like young D-Hop. Maybe you want to check him for PEDs. I'm sorry. I just like talking shit to him because apparently he wants to crush the 49ers because they didn't pick him up. but sorry, we don't have room for your old ass. But no, he had an awesome game. The defenses. This was one of my biggest questions with the Titans was, would we see that defense of 2 years ago? And it was all hurt last year, and they kind of showed up, man.
They did.
And
Big
honestly,
time.
like Ryan Tannehill lost this game for them. And it's just a matter of time. I don't know. We'll see if they're gonna bring Levis in. I don't know, because Ryan Tannehill. I'll say this: he had some really bad interceptions, but he was playing hard. He was playing like he wanted to win, like he really cared to be out there, like he didn't want to lose his starting job. You know what I'm saying? Like it looked like he still had fight in him. Granted, he did have some timely interceptions. But we'll see. But yeah, it was a good game. Anything else, Dane?
No, not really. I just think that both defenses came to play today. Offenses on both sides of the ball can use some work. I think Chris Olave on New Orleans had himself a game. I think that's going to be Derek Carr's new best friend. And Chris Olave did get banged up for a little bit, came back, played, and just balled out, man. He looked great.
Bro,
and Rashid Shaheed. Rashid Shaheed also had himself a pretty good game as well.
Yeah. Olave had 8 for 112. Rashid Shaheed 5 for 89 and a touchdown. Even Michael Thomas got some, man. It was good. Yeah. You know what? I want to talk about that a little bit. It was great to see Michael Thomas playing football.
It was
3 years. 3 years? Has it been 3 years?
It feels like 3 years. It's been like 2.5 years consistently, because he's been dealing with the high ankle sprains like multiple years in a row, where he's missed like a majority of the season. But last year, I think he played like 3-4 games.
Yeah, and Juwan Johnson, the tight end, had some nice catches. Once they get Alvin Kamara back, dude, Derek Carr is gonna have some weapons. Kamara,
yes, he is.
And if Michael Thomas can stay healthy, Thomas, Olave, Rashid Shaheed, he's and Taysom Hill, and what's his name, Jamal Williams. He's the goal line back. So they have a nice defense. So I think the Saints could be the Eagles of this year. Benefit from a very easy schedule. But yeah, a good win for the Saints. And one last thing. Sorry, Dane. I love the enthusiasm after the win when Derek Carr chucked that ball into the stands.
I do too.
That was awesome. I think the Raiders kind of did him dirty, and I'm happy that he's in a new place winning. So good for Derek Carr.
Agreed.
Next game. This one was fun. This one was one of my favorite earlier games. Jacksonville Jaguars beating the Indianapolis Colts 31-21.
Colts came to play. It was a tightly contested game for the most part. And Anthony Richardson, minus getting injured near the end, he looked good, man. He did not look bad. Dude, got things going on the ground, had some good big time plays.
Even throwing, he looked good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not going to say it. I'm not even going to say it. Never mind. He looked good throwing and good running. 24 for 37, 223, touchdown, interception, 10 for 40 rushing. Yeah, he had himself a game, man. He single-handedly was and a defensive, and that defense. The defense was legit for the Colts.
Oh yeah, the defensive line looked good today, and not only that. Like going back to the offensive side of the ball, Michael Pittman had a pretty nice catch today. Nice catch and run for like 40 yards, whatever it was. It was a nice play, but
it was a touchdown too, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yep. But going over to the other side of the ball on the Jacksonville side, Calvin Ridley, man, it looks like he has not missed a single step. He looks elite. He is he's a great route runner. He looks fast, great hands. I think he's going to be. I think he's just going to be balling out all season, honestly. And I think Trevor Lawrence is going to find himself a new best friend. Tank Bigsby had a costly mistake earlier, but he kind of made up for it. Had a nice touchdown. Travis Etienne looked good, and Jacksonville's defense stepped up when they needed to. Jacksonville is going to be a tough team to beat this year, and I think they proved it. It's week 1; anything can happen against a division opponent who plays them twice a year. So it was a good, solid win. I like what I saw from both teams. I'm higher on the Colts initially than I think I was heading into this game.
Yes. I wasn't sure what Anthony Richardson would be, and I'm actually very excited to watch him. I'm very excited that he's on my fantasy team. Um, I could easily see him winning Rookie of the Year, man, or Offensive Rookie of the Year. But real quick, if you guys haven't, you guys need to see the fumble recovery touchdown by the Colts by DeForest Buckner. Love you, miss you. But you know what? Glad you're doing good things in Indianapolis. That play was awesome. But yeah, no, it was a hard fought game. I enjoyed watching every second of this one. Next game. This one was pretty close too. We have the Washington Commanders beating the Arizona Cardinals 20-16. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I can. This one was surprising to me. I think that the Cardinals defense came to play. It is week 1. I think a lot of this might have been on Sam Howell and kind of having the ups and downs, but the Cardinals defense looked pretty good. Cardinals have Josh Dobbs at quarterback, so not an elite prospect by any means. They couldn't really get much on the offensive side of the ball going. Hollywood Brown had a couple good plays. James Conner looked pretty decent here and there. Rondell Moore looked fast, but it was the defense. I mean, the defense had a nice strip sack for a fumble recovery in the end zone, got themselves a defensive touchdown. But, you know, the Commanders came and balled out in the second half. They clutched up, which is what they needed to. They got the ball running with Brian Robinson. Robinson looked good. Jahan Dotson had a couple plays here and there, but I think for a rookie, Sam Howell, this was like a good test because it's not the greatest team, but it's a decent defense. And for your first win, you know, maybe you can get some momentum going. So hopefully it can help this offense propel itself going into the future. But, you know, it was a solid win. It was a tough match, but I think the Cardinals played harder than I gave them credit for.
Yeah, they definitely played harder than I gave them credit for, which I respect. You know, I mean, it's an NFL team. I don't expect them to literally like go out and tank, even though they're probably going to play their hardest. You know, even with their little amount of talent. But no, it was a hard fought battle by the Arizona Cardinals, and you know the Commanders scared me for a little bit, almost messed up our picks. We did pick the Commanders, however, we also both picked the Jags. Sorry, I keep messing this up, and I think I'm up to date with that. But yeah, and you know, not too impressed with the Commanders though. I will say that.
I wasn't very impressed either.
I was hearing all these things about Sam Howell, and
he looked good in preseason, but it definitely didn't transition to the first game of the season. I mean, He had some good time throws, but he looked like a rookie.
And all the pass catchers and running back, all the weapons and Washington, not impressed by. So hopefully they can pick it up. Next game, we did not pick this one correctly. The Raiders beat the Denver Broncos 17-16 in a pretty good game. Yeah. I enjoyed watching this one as well. You know, first drive, Jimmy G gets hurt, of course, or it looks like he gets hurt. But thankfully, you know, it looked like he got a concussion, but you know, he stayed in the game. The defenses came to play. I think it was a little bit slow for both quarterbacks. But I think it was just because the defenses were balling out. But Jacoby Myers had a game. Devontae Adams, you know, that connection between him and Jimmy is pretty good. But Jacoby Myers, man, he really did ball out. 9 for 81, 2 touchdowns. Jimmy Garoppolo, 20 for 26, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns and interceptions, probably the most he's ever thrown in a game. Josh Jacobs, not too impressive on the ground, only had 48 yards rushing, but the Broncos have an elite defense, so I'll give them some slack there. Any takeaways you want to talk about, Dane?
I do want to mention really quick. I think Russell Wilson actually didn't have himself a terrible game. I agree. I was just about to say that. I think he looked pretty decent, especially compared to how he looked last year. And granted, the receivers that he's missing, like he's missing a couple of receivers. So
Mm-hmm.
He made it work. It wasn't the best performance. I don't think the Raiders have the best defense by any means. It is week one, so a lot of game plan goes into this, adjusting to the new offensive scheme with Joe Lombardi and Sean Payton. But yeah, I think Russell Wilson actually had himself a pretty decent game. So that's one of my biggest takeaways, especially with the weapons that he did have out there. Broncos defense looked good. Max Crosby on the other side of the ball, I think he balled out. He always does. He looks like a beast. So it was a good win. It was a good competitive match, division rivalry. I think it was a good win by the Raiders.
Yeah. Wide receiver core, not too impressed by on the Broncos side of the ball. But like you said, I was glad to see Javonte running out there. He led the backfield with 13 carries, only had 52 yards rushing, but yeah, it was just good to see him out there. How many sacks? I just want to see how many sacks Max had. Okay, he had 1 sack, right on. But yeah, this was a fun game to watch. Good game. Dane, this next game, probably not going to talk about, but it was probably the best game of the week. It was an excellent game. Well, excellent if you like offensive,
high scoring.
Yeah. The defenses, they made plays. They definitely made plays.
Just not consistently.
And real quick, we picked the Broncos to win, so we got that one wrong. So this right now, up until now, Dane is beating me in picks by 1. This is where we differed. I picked the Dolphins. Dane went with his boys, the Chargers, and I caught up to him because the Dolphins won 36-34 in a nail biter. Dane, I'm gonna let you take this one away.
Okay. First and foremost, the positives for the Chargers, I really like that they did improve in the running game. Like the running game looked excellent today. They ran for over 200 yards. Austin Eckler, Joshua Kelly, they both had themselves a game. Justin Herbert, he didn't have as many opportunities as he usually does in the passing game. I think that the game plan was to kind of slow down the game clock, especially with how many weapons the Miami Dolphins had. But yeah, dude, the Chargers defense just did not look good at all. The Dolphins obliterated them. Tua threw for, I think, like 460 yards. Tyreek Hill had
66.
How many?
466.
Yeah. So he had himself a game. I think he had 4 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill had 2 touchdowns, over 200 yards. Tyreek Hill ate this game. And one thing that I do want to mention is
understatement.
Yeah. But one of the things, not to defend the Chargers, but they made a mistake here. They put JC Jackson on him. And JC Jackson is coming off of a patella tendon tear. And you're putting him on the fastest player in the NFL. I know he's Mr. INT. He did not look good last year in the scheme. He's coming back from what used to be a career-ending injury. And you're putting him on Tyreek Hill. It just did not work. The defense as a whole did not look good. The run game, they didn't run the ball that much. They just passed it over the middle, which is what they stopped last year. They looked great last year against passing over the middle. The Chargers stacked up the box and looked great. This year they couldn't do it. And I think a lot of credit needs to be given to Mike McDaniels. He came with a good offensive game plan. I think that he just studied the game film from the last time they met, and he outplayed the Chargers. It was a good offensive match on both sides. I mean, not many teams are going to lose when they score 34 points, but, it is the Chargers, so they will give up that loss. But, this was a great win for the Dolphins. I think it was a great competitive match, high scoring on both sides. The Dolphins, Tua came to play. Full sleeve Tua is balling out in week 1. I think it's going to continue. And so I'm happy for the Dolphins. It was a tough loss. I was really bummed about it. I want my boys to win, but at least it was a competitive match. So it was a good game.
Yeah, it was my favorite. Like I said, my favorite game of the week. Tua and Tyreek Hill balling out is an understatement. To the exact numbers, Tua was 28 for 45, 466, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Great interception by JC Jackson, by the way.
Also one of the most atrocious PIs you could ever give with 9 seconds left in the half, and then you give them 3 points. That's crazy.
It's funny. He had that, and then he made up for it with the interception, but he kind of fucked up on that play because he should have just kneeled the ball in the end zone.
Yes, he should have.
Um, and then he got absolutely burnt by Tyreek Hill on like on like a 50-yard touchdown. But Tyreek Hill, 11 for 215 and 2. Ay, ay, ay. I will say the positives for the Chargers, though. Herbert looks great. Eckler and Joshua Kelly look awesome together, bro. Like, that is a 1-2 punch. Like, I wasn't like I remember watching last year, like Kelly, whenever I'd watch him, and I wasn't too impressed. But that dude, this is his second year? Was he
Joshua
a rookie last
Kelly?
year?
No. Joshua Kelly, this is like his 4th year.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit. No, he is. He showed up, dude. He is having a little breakout party, I think. He looks great. Gerald Everett looked great on a couple plays. Keenan Allen's always doing Keenan Allen things. Mike Williams had a couple catches. And that was really it for the receiving core. You know what? Donald Parham had some good plays. But yeah, the defense just wasn't able to do enough to beat the Dolphins. That is a high-powered offense. Like I said, that the Dolphins are my like dark horse Super Bowl team. If they can stay healthy, I think they can go toe to toe with anyone. Their defense reminds me of like the Chiefs. You know, not like stout, or how do I say this? Not shut down, but they'll make plays when they need to. And
which is exactly what they did to close out the game. Like, the defense was getting ran over all game. You know, Chargers could make their way up and down the field, but then they blitzed at the end. Vic Fangio called a great game, you know, the last drive of the game, and sacked Justin Herbert twice. So it was a good way to close it out.
Yeah, and the intentional grounding didn't help them. But yeah, this was a great game. Like I said, my favorite of the week. Actually, one of my second favorite. I think my second favorite. This might be my second favorite game. Moving on. But let's see. We have the Philadelphia Eagles beating the New England Patriots 25-20, and this game was a nail biter, dude. I was pleasantly surprised with this game. I picked the Eagles. We both picked the Eagles. They were my highest confidence pick. You know, I've just been kind of down on the Patriots offense, like bad. Like, I have not had faith in them at all, but they came to play. I mean, the first quarter, like, it just, everything went the Eagles' way. You know, a couple bad not bad. It was more like not catching it, you know, like bouncing off their hands. But Mac Jones, Mayo Mac, baby, he came to play today, and against a good team. And he had a chance to win it at the end. Like, literally, football is a game of inches, and oh my God, if he would have gotten that second toe to get that first down, man, I would have nutted. But Eagles, I wasn't too impressed on the offensive side of the ball. The defense looks pretty good. A little young. They made some young mistakes, I think. But I think they're going to be fine. I think they'll be fine. Jordan Davis looks good. Jalen Carter looked good. Yeah, I wasn't too impressed by the offense on the Eagles side of the ball. But I think I'm more impressed by the Patriots defense.
Yeah, I think the Patriots defense balled out. And not only that, like, the Patriots offense actually did pretty well. Ramondre Stevenson got things going a little bit. Hunter Henry actually had himself a pretty decent game. Mac Jones looked pretty competent. So I think it was a surprising performance by the New England Patriots.
Mac Jones threw for 316 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Sheesh. Yeah, he had a good game.
Golly, he distributed that ball too. Dude, Hunter Henry made one of the sickest catches in this game.
Yes, he did.
It was absolutely beautiful.
Miss you, Hunter Henry.
Yeah, you know, Ezekiel Elliott was their leading rusher, which is pretty surprising. Ramondre Stevenson only had 25 yards, but he had 12 carries, so pretty interesting.
He had a touchdown though, didn't he?
Ramondre? No, he had no touchdowns.
What did he do in the passing game? He had to have done something in the passing game then.
He had 64 yards receiving.
There you go. That's what it was.
Yeah, the touchdowns for the Patriots were Kendrick Bourne with 2 and Hunter Henry with 1. But no, this Patriots defense, they always have a good defense. It's just as good this year. They were able to really slow down the Eagles. So this was a fun one. Let's go on to the next one. I think we have two more with the final. We have three more games.
Have we talked about the Packers? Packers
Yeah,
Bears?
that's what we're on next, my boy.
Okay. Oh, for show.
All right, so we did not pick this one, unfortunately.
Bears fans, we rode with you.
Yep. See what happens. But the Green Bay Packers beat 38-20. I just want to say this real quick, and then I'll let you take it away. Justin Fields looked really good for about a quarter.
Yeah.
And then I'll say this. His passing looked really good for a quarter. And then it just... He might be one of the most athletic quarterbacks I've ever seen, though. I think he might be more athletic than Lamar Jackson. Not like twitchy like Lamar, but dude, he is an escape artist.
The breakaway speed for Justin Fields is ridiculous, especially at that size.
Dude, if he could just work on his throwing. I know it's the first game.
Consistently.
Yeah. Because he makes good plays and then he makes... But I'll let you take this one away then.
Yeah, I think this was a good performance from Jordan Love. The Bears did have the number 32 defense last year, so I think that they improved in certain aspects. It's week one. I think that they're going to continue to improve. But, dude, Aaron Jones today was ungodly. Aaron Jones got it going. And Jordan Love, he looked good. He made big-time throws when he needed to. It was kind of up and down for him. It wasn't like a perfect game by any means, but he made some big-time throws. So I think that Jordan Love, he's better than where I gave him credit. He kind of reached where I thought that he could. And so I think that he still has more room to improve. And I mean, this is like his first career start where no one's in front of him. No one's injured and he has to come in. He's the starter. He's the guy. So I think that he's going to be able to build off of this and, keep it moving into the next game. But I liked what I saw from the Green Bay Packers. They usually play the Bears pretty well. I mean, over the last however many years, I think that Matt LaFleur is 9-0 against them in his career as a head coach. So he just knows how to play the Bears. So we'll see how the Packers do next week. But, I was impressed on both sides of the ball by the Packers. And I think that the Bears have some things to be happy about, but there's a lot of improvement that needs to happen for sure.
Yes. For the Packers side of the ball, I will agree with you. I think Jordan Love looked pretty good, but we might need a temper. It's the Bears. Let's see him against another opponent. If he can consistently do it, then I'm like, all right, the Jordan Love era has begun. What's it called? Who's their rookie DN they drafted? Lucas Van Ness? Yeah, Lucas Van Ness made an awesome play on Justin Fields. To be able to run down Justin Fields and sack him, I was very impressed. But yeah, the Packers just own the Bears, man. They literally own the Bears. Like I said, if the Bears win this division, I'll eat another pocket chip. That's how confident I am that the Bears are not going to win this division, especially with that type of play. But nothing much more to talk about here. It's kind of a boring game, to be honest. This next game, I think this one was the most shocking game of the week. Would you agree with that one, Dane?
Yeah, I would say so. Okay. I think it was the most surprising for sure.
Yeah, so we had the Los Angeles Rams manhandle the Seattle Seahawks.
Came to fucking play. And that defense, without Jalen Ramsey, looked fucking good. They looked fucking good.
Yeah. So real quick, we both picked the Bears to win. So we, Oh wait, did I say that already? My fault. And for this game, we both picked the Seahawks to win and they let us down. I had a feeling the Rams would beat some teams. I didn't think they would go out and smack the Seattle Seahawks, who are, I think they're both in our top 10 power rankings. They're in a lot of people's top 10 power rankings. A lot of people have the Seahawks winning the division. Granted, it is week one. Still shaking out the rust. But man, Oh, the Rams look good. What's his name? Bryant Young, number
Yeah,
the
yeah. For the
was that
edge rusher from Tennessee.
yeah, dude. He got a sack, dude. He balled out. Um, dude, they were pressuring Gino all day. Gino kind of came down to earth a little bit.
He looked good in the first half. I will say that, but yeah, there were some throws where I was like, okay, reality check. Is this the old Gino that we're used to from like New York?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's what I don't know. Byron Young, my fault. That's his name. He
Byron
got
Young,
a
yeah, you're right.
half sack. There's a bunch of half sacks over here, combining for 2 sacks. But yeah, no. What are we talking about here?
Gino.
Yeah, Gino kind of, just got pressured a lot. Wasn't able to get the ball out. I think Tyler Lockett got hurt in this game. I don't really know what happened. Kenneth Walker though looks amazing still.
Yeah.
I really like Kenneth Walker. Zach Charbonnet didn't do a whole lot, but
Didn't
he
get
only
utilized
3
very
carries.
much. Yeah.
DK Metcalf is a piece of shit. I'm just gonna say that right now. Did you see that play when he fucking blindsided the dude and hurt him on the play?
Yeah.
I've been kind of thinking this for a while. Mostly not only because I'm a 49ers fan, but like just his antics on the field. He's a fucking piece of shit, dude. Like I dislike DK Metcalf probably the most in the NFL right now. He's just a douchebag. But regardless, Jackson Smith-Njigba didn't really do a lot. Nobody really did a whole lot in this game for the Seahawks. The Rams held them to 3 yards in the second half, which is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
That is a crazy statistic. 3 yards. My God.
I think one of the biggest reasons for this game was I think one of their tackles got hurt.
Was it Charles Cross?
I don't remember. No, I think he was like a Samoan dude or something, or Polynesian, whatever. So I think he got hurt, and it was just a bad day for the Seahawks. It was a bad day for the Seahawks. I'll say that. One of the biggest things, takeaways here. Kyron Williams, the running back from Notre Dame.
Puka Nacua?
No, Kyron Williams.
Yeah, no, I'm saying Puka Nacua as well.
Puka Nacua and Tutu Atwell, they all did great today. They were awesome. Oh, also Higbee played really good. And you know what? Stafford played really good. He looked really good today. I was very impressed with the Rams today. So, biggest surprise so far, I think. All right, let's go on to the next one, Dane. We're almost done here.
Not much to say about this one.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, so I said the 49ers were the second most dominant game win. The Dallas Cowboys absolutely cream-pied, manhandled, raw dog, long dick style the New York Giants. And
it wasn't even offensively.
It was all defense. They didn't even need their offense.
Defense and special teams.
Started off ended with this game in the first quarter.
Field goal or punt block for a touchdown.
Dude, 40-0. We both picked the Cowboys, so we're tied right now with 12 picks. But I thought the Giants would regress. I mean, again, it's week 1. They don't look good at all. They had nothing to show for this game. Nothing positive. It was raining. It was raining pretty hard. But, they're a run team. How many yards did Saquon Barkley have? 51 yards.
It's crazy because I feel like a majority of those came on the first drive.
Yeah. I mean, Daniel Jones did a great job at running. I'll say that because he had to. Micah Parsons is going to win Defensive Player of the Year this year. I am sold on it. I was thinking it before the season. I should have put a bet, but whatever. I never do. I think he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year, and I think the Cowboys are going to have the number 1 defense this year. with that being said, the Cowboys do this every year. They always blow out their opponent or win a good team, win a good game, and everyone says, "Oh, the Cowboys are back. They're going to win the Super Bowl." That's what they say that's what Cowboy fans say every year. I still think this defense is legit, but let's see it play against the Eagles. Let's see it play against I don't even know who's on their schedule, but I want to see it against better opponents because wasn't really sold on the Giants last year, and I'm definitely not now. What are your takeaways here, Dane? I mean, not much, right?
Not much, man. I mean, it was just a dominant performance by the Cowboys defense. For those of us who have the Cowboys defense in fantasy, in our league, Jake, they got me 40 points. That just shows like how dominant this team was. To get 40 points as a defense is absolutely unheard of. I mean, interceptions, sacks, punt blocks, you name it. It was all there.
Yeah, I have him I have the Cowboys defense in my two other leagues. In my standard league, I have 37 points for the Cowboys. And in my one quarterback half PPR, they got me 35 points. So, yeah. Absolutely redonk.
Yeah, so there's not too much to take away. New York, maybe this is just a one and done. Maybe they get back on track after a blowout. Who knows? But we both thought that they were going to regress. I didn't think they were going to look this bad. I don't know how much I'm going to have inclement weather play a factor in this. I think that they still should have been able to perform a little bit. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was a good win for the Cowboys. We'll see if they can keep it rolling, see how it continues throughout the rest of the year.
Dan, I just realized I've been using your...
Oh, it's all good.
Oh, well, who cares? You guys don't even care about this show. So this is Thursday through Sunday. We still have Monday night. We have a really good one. Me and Dane, I think it's going to come down to the wire for fantasy. Before Sunday night, I had like a 80-point lead, and yeah, man, I'm sweating a little bit. I am sweating, but we both have Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen playing. And I have Breece Hall and James Cook. And Dane also has Garrett Wilson. So I think it's going to be a close one. But you never know with fantasy. So my team could shit the bed. His team could shit the bed. His team could ball out. We'll see. But I hope you guys play fantasy. It's a lot of fun. Man, anything left to say about week one? Any last takes?
No, I think that don't overreact. Don't just jump the gun on any of these teams. It is week one. We see teams blow out other teams or win that shouldn't. It happens every year. If your team lost, like the Chargers did, don't get too down on yourselves. There's 16 games left throughout the season. But if you lose next week, you're fucking done. So I don't know what to tell you. You should probably just call it quits and look at college football.
Everybody knows week 2 is the most important week. Real quick, I want to ask you 2 questions.
Go for it.
Give me a team that you think we need to pump the brakes on. Shout out to the fantasy footballers. Let's pump the brakes on, and a team that you think is like legit from their win week 1.
A team that I want to say pump the brakes on is probably the Cleveland Browns. It was a dominant performance. They play well against the Cincinnati Bengals every year. I wasn't too impressed with Deshaun Watson. It's week 1. I think that they can improve. If they keep it rolling, then they'll be legit. But I want to pump the brakes a little bit. And the same goes for the Cincinnati Bengals. Pump the brakes. They're not bad. They're a good team. They had a bad game. Who knows? Maybe Joe Burrow was in the strip club all night. I don't know what the fuck he was doing with all that money he just got. But yeah, a team that I think is legit is the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, like you said, Jake, I'm with you this year. I hope that they win it. If I was higher on the Chargers' chances, I would obviously root for my team. But, being a good friend, I want your team to win. I want one of our teams to win while we're alive. Finally. And I think that the 49ers have a better chance because they have a legit defense. They have one of the best offenses. And I think that Brock Purdy's the truth. And I think that this team's going to be good for a number of years. We'll see what happens with retaining their pieces. But yeah, 49ers are legit.
Yeah, 49ers are my legit showcasing. A lot of people, I'm not kidding, a lot of people pick the Steelers to win. And I'm trying to debate, because I'm trying to compare the Cowboys and the 49ers, right? They had two of the best dominant wins. And I'm trying to see, who do you think is a better team, the Giants or the Steelers?
I think the Steelers are a better team.
I do too. I think Kenny Pickett had a bad game, but I kind of look at Kenny Pickett and Daniel Jones as similar quarterbacks. But the thing with the Steelers is I think they have a better defense,
Agreed.
better coach,
Agreed.
and more weapons on offense.
Agreed.
So yeah, I would say 49ers are like my contenders, and probably for my pretenders. Let me see. Am I crazy? I almost want to say and it's like I want to say the Cowboys because they're going to be a legit team. Don't get me wrong. They're going to be legit. I just don't think I think it might be a little inflated beating the Giants. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's my, but that's kind of a bad one. If I really had to give it to one, yeah, that was a good one. The Cleveland Browns. That's a pretty good one. I would say the Cleveland Browns. All right. So we are tied, Dane, with 12 picks going into Monday Night Football tomorrow.
I think you took the Bills and I took the Jets, correct?
Yep. It's going to be the tiebreaker. So I am excited. I will say this. Oh, so I'm going to release this on Monday morning. So you guys are going to be listening to this. Hopefully you are still listening. Danny, got anything else to say?
Yeah, if you're still listening, what the fuck are you doing with your lives?
Yeah, go watch some football. Thank you for listening. Congratulations to your teams if they won, and if they didn't, I'm sorry, Dan. I love you, and good luck to everyone in fantasy. I know we all play it, but thank you for listening, and as always, peace. Week 1, baby.